Did you know that Bes, the ancient Egyptian god of households, childbirth, and sexuality, was a dwarf with a grotesque appearance? His face was broad and flat, with a wide mouth and protruding tongue. His eyes were large and bulging, and his ears were pointed. His body was short and stocky, with a potbelly and bowed legs. Despite his unusual appearance, Bes was a popular and beloved deity, revered for his protective powers and his ability to bring joy and laughter to the lives of his worshippers. One day, as Bes was walking through the desert, he came across a group of women who were struggling to give birth. The women were in great pain, and their cries for help could be heard for miles around. Bes was moved by their plight, and he immediately offered his assistance. He used his magical powers to ease the women's pain and to help them deliver their babies safely. The women were so grateful to Bes for his help that they spread the word of his kindness throughout the land. Soon, Bes became known as the god of childbirth, and women from all over Egypt would come to him for help when they were expecting a child. Bes would always be there to help them, and he would always make sure that they had a safe and easy delivery. In addition to his role as the god of childbirth, Bes was also known as the god of households. He was believed to protect homes from evil spirits and to bring good luck and prosperity to those who lived within them. People would often place statues of Bes in their homes, and they would pray to him for protection and guidance. Bes was also known as the god of sexuality. He was believed to be the patron of prostitutes and other sexual workers, and he was often depicted in art with a large phallus. Bes was not ashamed of his sexuality, and he encouraged his followers to embrace their own sexuality. He believed that sex was a natural and healthy part of life, and he taught his followers to enjoy it without shame or guilt. Bes was a complex and multifaceted god, and he played an important role in the lives of the ancient Egyptians. He was a protector, a healer, a bringer of joy, and a symbol of sexuality. He was a god who was loved and respected by all who knew him, and his legacy continues to live on today. One of the most famous stories about Bes tells of how he helped the goddess Isis protect her son, Horus, from the evil god Set. Set had murdered Horus's father, Osiris, and he was determined to kill Horus as well. Isis knew that she could not defeat Set on her own, so she turned to Bes for help. Bes agreed to help Isis, and he used his magical powers to create a protective barrier around Horus. Set was unable to penetrate the barrier, and Horus was safe. Isis was so grateful to Bes for his help that she promised to always honor him. The story of Bes and Horus is a reminder of the god's protective powers. Bes was always there to help those who needed him, and he was always willing to fight for what was right. He was a true hero, and his legacy continues to inspire people today. Bes was also a god of joy and laughter. He was always making jokes and playing tricks on people. He loved to dance and sing, and he was always the life of the party. Bes was a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always room for joy and laughter. Bes was a complex and multifaceted god, and he played an important role in the lives of the ancient Egyptians. He was a protector, a healer, a bringer of joy, and a symbol of sexuality. He was a god who was loved and respected by all who knew him, and his legacy continues to live on today. Here's a more detailed account of the story of Bes and Horus. Isis was the goddess of magic and motherhood. She was the wife of Osiris, the god of the underworld, and the mother of Horus, the god of kingship. Set was the god of chaos and violence. He was the brother of Osiris and Isis, and he was jealous of Osiris's power. One day, Set murdered Osiris and scattered his body parts throughout Egypt. Isis was devastated by her husband's death, but she was determined to avenge him and protect her son. She gathered Osiris's body parts and used her magic to bring him back to life. Set was furious that Isis had brought Osiris back to life. He attacked Horus and tried to kill him. Isis fought back, but she was no match for Set's strength. She knew that she needed help, so she turned to Bes for assistance. Bes agreed to help Isis, and he used his magical powers to create a protective barrier around Horus. Set was unable to penetrate the barrier, and Horus was safe. Isis was so grateful to Bes for his help that she promised to always honor him. Isis and Horus eventually defeated Set and restored order to Egypt. Bes continued to be a loyal protector of Horus and the other gods. He was a popular and beloved deity, and his legacy continues to live on today. The story of Bes and Horus is a reminder of the god's protective powers. Bes was always there to help those who needed him, and he was always willing to fight for what was right. He was a true hero, and his legacy continues to inspire people today.